Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, GamerK, and time for the first official video of the new year. My last video was pre-recorded, so, I wouldn't have to worry about doing a video during the holidays, during Christmas, during New Year's. Don't want to do something like that when I can spend time with my family. Now, let's get into my second video. And as you can tell by most of the motif, my Venom shirt, Green Goblin to my right, to my left, Hobgoblin and Spidey to my right, it is time for a Spider-Man themed video. Now, this is also, to begin the new year, I thought I would start off with something new. I've been doing top 13s, I've been doing game reviews, DLC reviews, a couple try not to laugh challenges peppered here and there, just for a little variety. And coming this year will be another new segment added to this one, but that will become later in upcoming months. So, welcome to the very first Gamer K's ranking videos. This segment is where I will be ranking various topics from my least favorite to my best to my most. Unlike my top 13 videos, these ones are actually bad and they get exponentially better. Top 13s are my worst favorites and my best favorites of the certain topic. So, what could I do for Spider-Man for a ranking video? Shattered Dimensions, the video game. From when I was in high school, me and my best friend loved this game so much. And it was a really fun game with a fantastic voice cast from Jim Cummings to Steve Blum to Neil Patrick Harris. Unfortunately, the boss battles, which were beautifully done, some of them fall off the pedestal of what the others were put on. So, for the first ranking video, I will be ranking every boss battle in the Shattered Dimensions video game, going from the worst one of the bunch to the one that's obviously the best. So, if you haven't played the game, it's 2020, the game's about 10 years old, play it. Play it. There is no reason you shouldn't have played the game. Unless you're not a Spider-Man fan, so. Let's get this video started. Coming in at number 25, Electro, third fight. Fighting electrical Biff Tannen while on a water dam would be such a fun idea. Unfortunately, there's not that much fighting going on in this game. By the way, just a little note, Tom Wilson, who played Biff Tannen in Back to the Future, yeah, he's been Electro in this game. So for those of you Back to the Future fans, the more you know. Unfortunately, this boss battle is at the bottom of the list, despite it's an early boss fight. It's the first boss battle for the black suit levels, and it's the final boss of the level. Electro gets really big after absorbing a whole bunch of energy, and sadly, there's not much fighting going on. All we do is just get him to attack the dam, or we just web up his hand until he hits the dam himself. And then he, spawns his electrical creatures, we fight him, we go to the dam, and we just dodge his punches while he damages the dam. Damning, this fight is not. It is awful. The worst boss in this game. Number 24, Juggernaut, first fight. For a big heavyweight like Juggernaut from the X-Men, you'd think they give him an awesome fight. Nope, not even close. First fight in the level. First part of the level, actually, and all we do is dodge his attacks, and when he gets winded, we beat him up, and we do a little button where we just web him up and swing him around like he's what's that Olympic event? Oh, right, like a hammer throw into buildings to damage him. Do this enough times, and the boss battle is done. Pure, simple, kind of like Juggernaut. Number 23, Juggernaut, second fight. Didn't take long for this boss to have his second out on the list. Yeah, Juggernaut's second fight is a little bit more intense because he's got the fragment power, but all that does is just create minor earth shocks, which can be avoided by, jumping. This boss battle would have been really well done if it was a different character. Sadly, they ran out of Spider-Man villains. Don't know how that's possible, so they just had to include Juggernaut. He's unstoppable. Unfortunately, he would be unstoppable if they gave him a decent boss fight. Number 22, Green Goblin, the only boss on this list who only have one fight, and I'm not including the various encounters with him in the level. The final level villain of the noir story, Green Goblin is I mean, where's the glider? Where's the pumpkin bombs? No, instead he's just a regular guy who used the fragment to turn his fantasy to life to become a sickening horror Green Goblin. And can you please get the flashing neon light off your back that says weak point? Yeah, you can't hurt him if you're fighting up front. All you gotta do is dodge his attacks and hit his giant bolt glowing thing on his back. That's pretty much all you do. And the boss fight takes place in the giant big top, which sucks to hell. Stealth sections are when the lights go off. You're on the high rise, and you just gotta get him under you, hit him, and then in the final fight, you just gotta beat all of his henchmen and beat him up. You don't even have to beat up the henchmen, just defeat him, and the boss is over. Back to the freak show, you uninspired creature. Number 21, Scorpion, first fight. Scorpion is honestly a lot better in this game than I could ever have imagined, being a mutant instead of a guy in a mechanical suit. His boss battle is a little creative, with him hissing at you, and also spawning eggs, creating scorpion mutant clones. Oh, thought only women can do that, but what can you do? Scorpion is very tough if you're not careful, because he follows up his claw attacks with the tail. So you really gotta be focusing and paying attention in order to get him finished. Well, I've already done one boss battle from each of the dimensions now. Now we're going up a notch. Number 20, Sandman, third fight. Kind of what happened with Electro's boss fight, where Sandman just spreads his consciousness throughout a giant sandstorm, and it's starting to mess with his mind. This boss fight is beyond boring. The only one I barely had trouble on. All you gotta do is just throw water barrels at the three faces, pound them until they retreat back into the sandstorm. Also, it's fun. In the sandstorm, you gotta find a whole bunch of debris and just zip on across in order to find water barrels. Also, little hint, Juggernaut's helmet is going through that sandstorm. It would have made more sense if he was the second fight if he was the second villain instead of the third, so that helmet being there would have made sense. But, cool idea. Sadly, Sandman doesn't really do much in ways of attacking you, except, spewing sand or creating giant fists. Oh, dear God, can we just get this sand trap over with? Number 19, Deadpool, first fight. Deadpool. Everyone's favorite merc with the mouth. Before he became famous, before Ryan Reynolds squeezed his ass into that leather suit, Deadpool was beyond annoying in this game. Beyond annoying. Somewhat in the fun way for those of you who knew Deadpool. I did not know Deadpool when I played this game, so I was a little confused. But having him fight you on his oil rig game show in one section, not that difficult. He teleports once in a while, he'll shoot his guns, he'll throw his grenades, he'll use knives to attack you too. So pretty much just beat him and all of his fans, and, well, that's the end of this boss battle. Almost close to cancellation. Number 18, Vulture, first fight. This freak of nature gave me nightmares when I played this, especially considering it was the noir level. So they turned him into a grotesque mutant. And the way his skin looks just creeps me out too. Not only that, but Steve Blum was a perfect casting choice for this character. The creepiness of his crackly voice just makes you want to run in fear even as an adult. But the boss fight's not that bad. All you gotta do is just get Vulture in front of a spotlight, shine that bright light on this bird, and just throw his ass onto the wall. Do this a number of times while dodging his mini daggers and everything, and you're pretty much golden. Number 12, Carnage, second fight. You think Carnage being the final boss of the black suit section would make him an awesome boss battle, but no, all we gotta do is defend the fire robots, burning up his giant heart, defeat a whole bunch of his clones, and just go to town on him in a quick, close-range mechanic that they do, dodging his claw swipes and just punching his face like a whack-a-mole. Seriously, any boss where you have to fight a majority of their enemies is beyond lazy. So, Carnage, brilliant design of a monster, brilliant design of a level. Sadly, boss-wise, execution was terrible. Number 16, Kraven, first fight. Fighting Kraven in his makeshift Amazon Coliseum would have been a cool idea if it didn't have big flaws. For one thing, Kraven being the first boss in the game. Secondly, not that tricky mechanics, even for a first level wise. I mean, all you gotta do is just dodge his blades, follow him when he's jumping, and just do well in the first section of the close combat segment of the game. Do this and the game's over before it even began, and I do mean before it even began. Number 15, Carnage, first fight. Yeah, for once a first fight is a lot better than the second fight, mostly because you don't have to fight the enemies most of the time or deal with that giant eyesore of a bleeding heart. Carnage just hops around like a mad frog the entire time. Also, when he's jumping at you, counter him in order to throw him into the propellers and you'll get some achievement points. And yeah, just get him into the fiery wreckage and this eyesore is done. Not much to say. Okay fight, not awesome. Number 14, Hobgoblin, first fight. Another amazing Steve Blum cameo, ladies and gentlemen, as Hobgoblin. Not you, a more futuristic Hobgoblin. This one is actually pretty fun, doing what regular Goblin should have done, throwing bombs at you, and you can swing them around and throw them back at him, which is always fun. He'll fly around with his cybernetic wings and taunt you a good majority of the time during the fight, so that, I mean, kind of like Mark Hamill's Hobgoblin from the TV show. Banter at every point and turn, and I love it. Fight off a couple of the public eye nuisances, and just keep fighting Hobgoblin until you're bored of him, which you will not, because Hobgoblin is awesome. Number 13, Sandman, first fight. Yeah, Sandman's getting a lot of boss fights on this list. I mean, fighting him the first time is when he's in his human-sized, where he can still create a cyclone around his legs to move, which is awesome animation using the sand powers. Unfortunately, the boss battle really gets annoying when he's that easy. The reason he's higher up on the list, though, is because compared to his third fight, he's a lot better. The combat's a lot better, but unfortunately, throwing the water barrels at him still turn him to mud, which makes the fight less interesting when that's a lot in a rock quarry. Water barrels everywhere. Coming in at number 12, Electro, second fight. This one gets on the list just because of the beautiful atmosphere of an electrical plant at the dam. Electro will constantly be zapping around to different pinpoints, releasing his electrical beams at you, and coming up with a whole bunch of funny catchphrases and electrical jokes too. Damn you, Biff Tannen. Unfortunately, it's a little bit easier, but a lot challenging too, because he'll quickly zap between places, so you really gotta pay attention to where he is. One wrong move and you'll be the spider caught in the bug zapper. Yeah, I know it's a lame joke, but it's Biff Tannen, so I'm letting it slide. Command number 11, Hammerhead, second fight. The second fight with Hammerhead is really creative, using the fragment power to turn his two Tommy guns into a futuristic rocket launcher and Gatling gun stuck to his arms. This is what happens when you mix 1940s gangsters with technology, and it's a shame a lot of video games don't do this kind of thing. It's impressive. Having to throw gas canisters at him to create smoke in order to get away from him, and sneak up behind him in order to deliver the TKO. Hammerhead is a lot versatile and pretty smart in this boss battle, having to hitting you with his gun arms while shooting at you and shooting the rocket launcher at you. So that's pretty fun. Not only that, but the close-up encounter at the end of the boss fight is creepy, but it's awesome at the same time. So Hammerhead, lesser used villain to his full potential. Definitely got his A game on this one. Also, if I recall, John DiMaggio, who voiced Draken, great pick for this boss. Oh no, wait, that was in Spectacular Spider-Man. My bad. If I'm right about that, I'm right. Sorry, my bad. Coming in at number 8, Deadpool. Oh, my bad. I skipped some. Sorry, my bad. I trailed a little bit too far. Number 10, Kraven, second fight. The first big fight, the first major superpowered boss in this fight. Kraven gets the ability of a speed like a cheetah for some reason. They couldn't have anthropomorphized him into a lion like they did in Spectacular. No. I'm not going back to Spectacular Spider-Man on that because that was somewhat bad. Although this boss fight is a lot easier. Oh, well, not easier. It's just more aesthetically pleasing having it on top of a temple instead of in a makeshift Amazon cage that looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Anyway, Kraven's is a lot deadlier in this, throwing his swords at you, having greater speed to dodge your attacks. Also, the pillars that go up and down throughout the boss fight. Yeah, get him to destroy those and you'll get another achievement point for the level. Also, be careful when you gotta be cautious when he's on the pillar. Zip kick him off of it, and you'll do a lot of damage. So the hunt is over for Kraven. Let's get to the next one. Number 9, Hammerhead, first fight. This one is the most original in the entire game. Not really fighting him, just being a noir style, being in a train track switcher with a mounted Gatling gun on top. So pretty much just get him to blow out all the columns of the blocking columns, and you'll get an achievement there. I'm giving you guys achievement information. You're welcome. Anyway, the boss fight is again, like I said, the most unique in the game, considering you don't really fight the guy. You just gotta dodge all the bullets and just sneak up behind him when he's not looking. Pretty basic for the noir levels, but pretty awesome nonetheless. Number 8, Deadpool, second fight. After doing a whole bunch of bizarre crap through this whole level, we finally get to fight him. And unfortunately, his fragment ability gives him the power to duplicate himself. Why he only chose 2 more duplicates is just to do a snap, crackle, chop joke. And also, each one has their own weapons. One uses guns, one uses knives, and the other uses grenades. Fun fact, if you kill the 3 of them in a certain order, you will get an achievement. The boss fight is pretty fun, actually. Once in a while, they'll drop dummy explosives in a certain pattern, from a heart to a sun to a good majority of other patterns, which is bizarre, but it's fun. It's Deadpool. Not only that, but after a good majority of the fight, they'll teleport away, and Deadpool will come out as a ring girl, showing round 1, round 2, which adds to the comedic effect of the character. Deadpool, you make a boss fight fun, pal, but unfortunately, your game, not so much. Coming to number 7, Electro, first fight. Outside of the electric plant is where we first fight Electro, and is it great? It's a lot better than the other ones. For one thing, he gets the added bonus of absorbing the electricity, which gives him more health throughout the fight. So you got to take him out really quickly before he regenerates all the health that you pretty much taken away from him. Not only that, but he gets to shoot out an electrical beam out of his fists, which I don't know why they came up with that, but it's still good. Also, he creates an electrical force field around him, so you gotta wait until he's out of juice before you can actually hit him, which adds to the little bit of extra, challenge to the fight. So, Biff Tannen, once again, gets a good boss fight. Unfortunately, he started off this list with a bad fight, but he's made it to the top 10. So, good for you. Coming in at number 6, Scorpion, second fight. This fight is a little bit more trickier, because as you fight below in the bottom half of the level, Scorpion gets up close and personal. Second bout, he will fill the bottom half with toxic poison, and he will constantly be spewing more of his eggs. In order to win this fight, you need to damage him until he jumps onto the ship that's literally hanging by a thread on top of the glass, and throw a toxic egg at him to melt the window. At the end of this fight, Scorpion gets squished by the very same thing, which is sad. No more. I can't think of a Scorpion theme joke. Moving on. Coming in at number 5, Hobgoblin, second fight. That's right, Hobgoblin's second fight gets near the top of the list, mostly because of the ability he gains, which creates copies of himself and a giant version in the back, and also creates this like a psychedelic warp dimension in the background, which if you have difficulty with your eyes, I would not assume playing this level, mostly because it's difficult to focus. And not to mention, his abilities and his attacks get more and more devious, from all the copies throwing pumpkin bombs to basically being hard to hit most of the time. And they're hard to destroy. You gotta hit them a good number of times before they'll actually be destroyed. So, hobby, be thankful you're the only goblin on the top of the list. Number 4, Vulture, second fight. As creepy as Vulture was, once he uses the fragment and his skin starts glowing and everything, and his eyes turn like sickly yellow, the creep factor goes up a notch. Not only that, to make the creep factor even worse, Vulture can teleport throughout this fight. So teleporting away from you or teleporting right behind you to give you a living scare. So, but pretty much it's the same fight. Hit him, get him in front of a spotlight, blind him, throw him up against a wall. Basic rinse and repeat with a little bit of a scare twist. Number 3, Sandman, second fight. This one is when he's deep in the mines and he turns into a giant sand colossus. Sand colossus. Marvel, you've done it again. This one is a lot harder, though, because he will create his sand minions in order to attack you while he's attacking you. So it's kind of a rock and a hard place situation in this. But pretty much just throw a whole bunch of water barrels at him after you defeat the enemies, and it's pretty easy. It's a pretty fun fight. The atmosphere about how giant Sandman gets in this one is what puts him near the top of the list. Actually, literally on the top of the list. So, let's continue. Number 2, Dr. Octopus. Another final boss of the section that only gets one boss fight. I really love how they went for a female version of Doc Octopus, because it would be really creepy seeing a Doc Ock in that skin-tight mechanical suit. And I love the design of her arms. They're a lot longer and sleeker looking. Not only that, but her fight is very difficult and annoying, which is why she's number 2 of the list. Pretty much, she will release laser beams onto the floor, and they'll go around in a circle, going above the area or coming closer. And in order to damage her, you need to pull out the 3 energy cells. All while you pull out each one, the task gets difficult as more lasers are introduced. After getting them out, you get to hit her a couple times and take this lady on a date by throwing her against the wall by her legs. The mechanical ones, not her actual legs. Afterwards, she'll create a giant hologram of herself where her cybernetic legs can't actually hurt you. So, kudos for Doc Ock being the second hardest boss in the game, and honestly, again, one of the more creative ones. Sadly, she only got one boss fight, because I'm not counting those segments where she takes control of a giant robotic arm. I'm not counting those. Number 1, Mysterio. That's right, the final boss of the game is the most talented one. For the main fact, because it incorporates all 4 dimensions into the boss fight. We start off with Mysterio being all giant-like, which he is throughout the fight, in the Noir segment, where we gotta watch out for when he looks at you, with pretty much incorporating Scarecrow from Arkham Asylum's gaze into the level. Yeah, anytime the parts of the level light up, you gotta hide in the shadows. And it's pretty fun, actually. Once you get up there, you get to slam Mysterio's fishbowl face into a spike. And then we go into the Black Suit universe, where we have to fight Mysterio after he creates orbs that pretty much have the attacks of all the bosses we fought. From Sandman charging at you, to Doc Ock's tentacles, to Kraven attacking us, and pretty much every other boss in the game, which is fun. All we gotta do is wait for the attack to fail, destroy the orb, and that's pretty much it. Then we go to the 2099 version, where we're just skydiving through Mysterio's Rings of Fate. Do this enough times and get close to him and punch the living crap out of his fishbowl. We end everything in the Amazing Dimension, where Mysterio creates his lackeys, defeat them, getting close to him, and that's pretty much all she wrote for Megatron. All right, just gonna say, David Kaye, who voices Megatron from Beast Wars, he's Mysterio's voice in this, and that is so awesome. So yeah, Mysterio is the best boss in the game for the sheer creativity of using all the dimensions to the final boss. In a game like this, that's what a final boss should be, encompassing every aspect of all the levels. Well, that's pretty much it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. That's the list. Really hope you enjoy the list. Like, comment, subscribe down below. And coming next week, we go back to a DLC review where we get to see what happens if America was ruled by a tyrant. Those are your only hints, ladies and gentlemen. Log in next week and find out. This is Gamer K, logging out.